all of the entrepreneurs, the 9-to-5ers, the dreamers, the hustlers. Here on MichaelaSoForReal, I sit down with some of Dallas-Fort Worth's most talented artists as well as entrepreneurs of all sorts. I'm also giving you the for real on my thoughts. Again, thank you for tuning into MichaelaSoForReal. Now let's get real. If you are new to this show, I start off the show with the Meat on Your Head segment. Just wanted to give a brief, recap of my week. Hope you had a wonderful week. My week was pretty good. This past weekend was really awesome and, fun filled. I got a chance to see Big Crit in concert as well as able to attend media training that was brought to you by Power Play Radio from a TV point of view. So this week has been good. Hopefully you had a wonderful week. We are kind of starting a little later today, but it's okay. We're still going to get the show started. So again, if you're new, we get started by going into the Meat on Your Head segment, or I guess, food for thought is another word for it. But it's just me giving you like a quote of the day, the word of the day, random facts, as well as the Black History facts, because we're black all year, not just in February. So I always want to make sure that I continue to drop knowledge where I can. So the Meat on Your Head segment today is the quote of the day says, "Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind." And I think that's an awesome quote, because a lot of times we spend a lot of time worrying about what people think, who don't really matter, whose opinions really aren't, valid. And yeah, they don't matter. So don't worry about it. So that's the quote of the day. And the word of the day is mellifluous, pleasingly smooth, musical to the ear, filled with something as honey that sweetens. So that is the word of the day. The random facts of the day. Let's see. What the random fact is. The sons of Adolf Hitler's nephew made a pact to never have children, ending the Hitler bloodline. Wow. Now that's powerful. I guess thank you. I don't know. Let's see, and then the Black History facts of the day. Black History fact is going to talk about Black History Month. Is the ancestor of Negro History Week, which was started in 1926 by historian Carter G. Woodson, an intellectual of prodigies. It's very talented. Woodson attended such vulnerable institutions such as the University of Chicago in 1907. The Sorbonne of Paris in 1908, and received his PhD from Harvard University in 1912. Through his research, he sought to recognize the accomplishments that blacks had achieved in a variety of areas, and was well known for this work, The Miseducation of the Negro, in 1933. Over the years, Black History Month has begun to take on a wider scope by including blacks of this era. The saying goes, every month is Black History Month, and it is. We've done so much, for this country. So it's a lot of history as we actually celebrate, or I guess I don't know if it's celebration, but we recognize 400 years ago the transatlantic slave trade happened, and so we are in the 400th year. So thank you to Carter G. Woodson and many men and women in that time, in that era, that made it possible for even me to be here talking to y'all. So like they said, we're black every month, not just Black History Month. So I'm going to continue to, pour that into you guys. So you can always find that. All right. And so the next segment after the Meat on Your Head is the things on my mind. So the things on my mind is just, things that go on throughout the week that I, find interested, or that I'm thinking about. And so just want to kind of share that with you guys. Thank you all to you guys on Facebook as well for checking in. So let's see what's on the Meat on Your Head segment. Things that I cannot control. Other people's thoughts, other people's words, other people's actions, other people's behavior, other people's feelings. Things I can control: my thoughts, my words, my actions, my behaviors, and my feelings. So what did you take out of that? That you cannot control other people. You can only control yourself. And so, with that, being said, we have to stop focusing so much on other people's feelings and what they have going on and focus on ourselves. So that's one thing that was on my mind. Let's see. Oh, I like this one. So this is just a question. You guys do email questions. You can call in as well, or you're on Facebook. But what is the most important question to ask on the first date? As we are in 2019, approaching 2020, the dating scene is really, it's crazy. And a lot of times we rush into things because we, don't want to be alone, or, we just want somebody. But what are some questions, or what is one of the important questions to ask on the first date? I feel like we should be asking how this person was raised, because when you know how a person is raised, and you can kind of understand them a little better. So I don't know, what are some of y'all questions that y'all ask on the first date? But that's one of my questions that I would ask. Like, how are you raised? Like, what do you believe in? What is your way of life? What are what are you about? So those are some questions. And that was on my mind. So let's see what else was on my mind this week. All right, and so I like this. It says, start by drinking a cup of water. Start by paying toward one debt. Start by reading one page. Start by making one sale. Start by deleting one old contact. Start by walking one lap. Start by attending one event. Start by writing one paragraph. Start today. So overall, just start. I always go back and revert to, this show. Like, I literally started this show on my couch, and I made up my mind that I wanted to do it. Didn't know how I was going to do it. Didn't have the equipment. Didn't have, really pretty much nothing other than an app on my phone. And I started, and then now look. So you have to start somewhere. You can't just automatically, not to say that you can't. It happens every once in a blue moon or a purple moon. I don't know. But for the most part, you have to just start. You have to work at it, and you have to start. So that's that. What else is on my mind? 10 signs you're doing well in life. You have a roof over your head. You ate today. You have a good heart. You wish good for others. You have clean water. Someone cares for you. You strive to be better. You have clean clothes. You have a dream. You're breathing. Be thankful for the little things, for they are the most important. So those are 10 things, 10 signs to know that you're doing well. We often, complain about things, or things may not be going the way we want to, but we have so much things to be grateful for. So that was on my mind. I think it may be like one more. I thought this was pretty cool. It says objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. And so things like success, happiness, what else did it say? Success, happiness, more friendships, not being depressed, becoming who I want to be. So those things may appear closer than they are, but they are they're coming. So be patient, I guess. I think it's something like last thing on there. I think maybe that was it. All right. So those are the things on my mind. So again, thank you for tuning in. And we have a good show for you today. I have Candyology. She's a sexologist. You may know her from the Candyology shows every other Sunday on 8 p.m. At 8 p.m. I believe. Yes. So she is going to be sitting in with me today. Again, thank you all for tuning in. I know we kind of started a little late, but the show goes on. And I believe we're going to take our first break. And when we come back, we're actually going to just hop into the show and talk to Miss Candy. So, again, thank you for tuning in to MichaelaSoForReal here on Power Play Radio Network. Radio from a TV point of view. We will be right back. just tuning in, I'm sorry we just had a mini concert over the break. This is MichaelaSoForReal on Power Play Radio from a TV point of view. Just gonna get right into it. This is my lovely guest today, Miss Candy with Candyology. How are you?
What's up, girl? I'm great.
Yes, and this is a very, unique show. Kind of something, out of my we got our mimosas today. It's about to get real. Thank you, Duddy, for that compliment. I have a great smile. Thank you.
She does.
So yes, Miss Candyology, I'm gonna let her, introduce herself. As you see, Mocha Marriage licensed sexologist. She is, she's not just out here just playing with you. Yeah, willy-nilly. She actually has some. Because you got to say that, because, when people, I'm not going to lie, when I was like, okay, so she going to talk about sex, and, she's selling toys. Okay, that's cool. But it's actually more into it. You actually, okay, so I'm going to let you speak on that.
So, again, guys, my name is Candy J. I am a certified clinical sexologist through the Dr. Rachel Institute. If you don't know Dr. Rachel, she was on The Doctors. You remember that show?
No.
It was a reality show.
Okay.
But she blew everybody's mind when she became not only a family physician, but also a sexpert and sexologist. So she opened up her own institute, and as a bedroom candy consultant, I got like this great deal at the time to get in with her institute, and it was amazing.
Okay.
Blew my mind, because sexology is so much more than just about, this is how you stick a penis in a vagina.
Well, when you first hear it, that's what you're thinking. Okay, so you're going to teach me about how to have sex. Okay. But it's the relationships and the thought behind it and the mind. And, it's a lot of mental
intimacy. And
yes.
I mean, we have people in our organization, because we do have a Dr. Rachel organization, that deal with, and I deal with it too, but it's not my specific niche, like people with disabilities and how that changed. You at one point you like sex this way, but now because you have lupus, you have cancer, you got your leg amputated or your arm amputated, or you became paralyzed from the neck up or the waist down, whatever the case may be. I mean, we dealing with those type of things.
So you get deep into it.
Deep.
Just because you have certain circumstances happen to you doesn't mean that you're not human anymore.
Hello?
You don't have needs, and you don't want some kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Right. So let's just go back, because I read your biography that you sent me, and I thought that it was. I had it printed out and I left it in the car, but I thought that it was really, interesting. Especially how it started off. It starts off and it says that basically when she realized what feeling on her clitoris felt like, that sparked an interest in her mind. And both of us, we come to the conclusion that we're both PKs, or if you don't know what that is, preacher's kids. We both grew up in the church, and so when she said that, I kind of related to it a little bit, because it was taboo for us to grow up. You didn't talk about that. You didn't talk about it, and like when parts come up on movies, close your eyes.
Right.
Don't be looking. You know what I'm saying? But it's natural, and eventually, like we said, you started asking questions to these other kids that don't know, just like you don't know. And I think that it's real important that I love what you're doing, because it's something natural. It's something that we all deal with, and instead of making it taboo, talk about it.
Right.
And be safe. Yeah, and make it the norm, because it is norm. It is the norm.
And one of the things that stands out to me really about that, we used to call it, the girl stuff was the pocketbook.
Yeah.
Or the wheelie for the boys. What else? Oh, our private.
Your private
parts. You don't want anybody touching your private parts. But here's the deal, and something that resonated with me quite recently, actually. Think about it. If your son or daughter tells you, "Oh, mommy, somebody touched my pocketbook," you're not necessarily going to think that they're talking about their vagina.
Exactly.
You're just thinking about, because she carries around a little pocketbook, a little purse, that, somebody touched her purse, right?
And if she were to go to tell somebody that, there's,
Okay.
Pocketbook, baby.
It's all right. They gave it back, right? You know, that's kind of your first instinct. So it's making it the norm to teach your kids, no, we're going to call it what it is. It's your vagina. It's his penis. Not these slang terms. You know what the D word, the P word,
right?
All of those things, right? The vagina and the penis. Because if your child comes to you and says, "Oh, somebody touched my vagina," that's you ready.
Red signs going off.
Hello, we in action as parents. We gonna go into action versus what you would have thought,
right?
With a pocketbook.
And so you just always, after that, you how old were you when you started to have you said that you had the real talks? How old were you when you decided that, you know what, I'm interested in this and I'm going to talk about it?
So officially I would say we were like 22, 23.
Okay.
But earlier on with my cousins, we would have in these back rooms, we would be talking about all kinds of stuff. I don't know, we had to be 11, 12, 13. Wow, okay. But I was always the common denominator to start talking about those things because I was curious. I've shared before that I rode my Cabbage Patch doll. Y'all remember them hard-faced Cabbage Patch dolls? Well, yeah.
And you?
I was riding one of those.
Okay.
Yeah. My granny caught me.
So where did you see that though?
I didn't see it anywhere. I just thought, well, I like the feeling when I rubbed my clitoris. So I was like, well, maybe if something else is harder, it'll feel better. I was a smart kid.
And imagine how smart you were without YouTube, without Instagram, without all of that. These kids now,
and I was 8 when I did that.
They can go look up and just type in. How does it? I don't know. Whatever they want to type in, they can type in now.
I mean, I'm a former middle school teacher, and 7th and 8th graders, they was talking about squirting and how do you squirt and how do you numb your gag reflex. Yeah, in middle school.
Wow.
So it's a passion of mine to really talk to them about sex and sex education and the correct names for things and your emotions and what you go through with all of that.
So I'm interested, how did you become a bedroom candy consultant? How did that come about?
So I went to one of my great friends' bachelorette party. Her name was Rondi. And at this bachelorette party, my sponsor, Frida Coleman, it put her on the door and tied her up. And at the time, we had this long whip on our line. And she was like, who wants to whip her? And I said, me! So I began, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun or whatever. And so we moved on with I think that was in the middle of it. But in throughout the conversation, she noticed that I was taking over every conversation. So if it was relationships, I took over the conversation. We talked about anal. We talked about squirting that night. We talked about, what else did we talk about? It was all kinds of things that we talked about that night. And I took over all of the conversations. And so at the end of the night, she just asked who wanted to become a bedroom candy consultant, and I didn't raise my hand because I was too busy filling out my paperwork. Okay, I want this one, and I haven't tried that one. I want that one.
Okay, but she's seen it in you.
But she saw it in me, and she pursued it. My friends were pointing at me anyway, and so by the end of the night, maybe about 2 weeks later, she delivered something else to me, and she was like, here's the pamphlet. I really think that you would be a very good consultant. And I was married at the time, and I was just like, I asked my ex-husband, my son was 1 at the time, and daycare is $900 to $1,000 for a 1-year-old. I mean, that's on probably the high end, but I could still find some places $500 to $600, but I wouldn't really trust them. So as a teacher, we make decent money, but it wasn't, to me enough to be substanding of like $500. That's a car note. $900. That's a house. No. Yeah. So when I talked to him about it, he was like, okay, well, we got some financial stuff going on. Well, why don't you you're a natural at it. So I became a bedroom candy consultant.
And how long have you been doing that?
3.5 years.
Wow. Okay. And so where has it taken you with this?
I mean, So, as a bedroom candy consultant, I was going on certain people's podcasts to talk about all of our different products. And I happened to be on one of my friends, Shawnee B's show, and they
Shawnee B.
Hi, Shawnee B. And the owner of the station asked me to create my own show. And at the time, I had just finished up my Dr. Rachel Institute stuff. So it was right on time. God kind of opened that door for Candyology to be formed because, to be quite honest, as I was thinking of a show name, I had to think of a name for my coaching service. And it just all kind of meshed into one.
I think, I guess that's around the time that we kind of met too, because we met, a little backstory on us. We actually met at the radio station I was at prior to coming over here to Power Play. Shout out to KMW Media, the family over there. And so we actually, that's funny because we did our promo together, and that was my first time meeting Candy. And when I was just like, okay. Hey, she is okay. Hey, I want to, and I didn't even realize that. I thought that y'all were already established, and that I was just coming. So after I found, he was like, "No, I haven't even started my show," and I was like, "You don't have a show? Oh, so this is just you?
All day, every day.
All day, every day." But I love it. I love it. So one of the questions that I had on the things that's on my mind was. Sorry, we're going to take a break actually, but when we come back, we're going to get into a few questions that I think, we're going to ask the expert here, ask her a few questions on the dating tip, because in 2020, 2019, it's crazy, and so we're going to get some expert opinions from you. But don't go anywhere. We will be right back. This is MichaelaSoForReal on MichaelaSoForReal on Power Play Radio Network, radio from a TV point of view. We'll be right back. Hey y'all, and welcome back to MichaelaSoForReal. I am your lovely host here, Michaela Shanae. Thank you for tuning in to Power Play Radio from a TV point of view. You can call in at 972-863-8860. If you are just tuning in, I am with the lovely, very, very lovely Miss Candy with Candyology.
Hey y'all!
And we are going to get into a few questions. Like I said, one of the questions on the things on my mind today is, what is the most important question to ask on a first date? I had a few people on Facebook Live. Somebody said the full name. You always want to start there. Don't give me your Facebook name or your Instagram or your Snapchat name. I need to know what your mama called you, okay? Or what you call yourself. So with her being the sex, love, and relationship expert coach, we're going to ask her opinion on, a few of those things. So what are some of the questions that you have, or that you would tell us that for the first date?
One of my favorite questions is, how do you comfort your significant other in a traumatic situation?
That's important.
And I know it's kind of deep, but it's very important. Because I've heard some crazy answers and some crazy responses to it.
And a lot of people deal with things differently. So you may have a dramatic situation happen and you may be dramatic. Another person, they may shut down completely. You may not even feel like they have, so you have to establish that. That is a good one. I said also, how were you raised?
But you got to be a little bit more specific.
Yeah.
Because even that question is not deep enough.
You so what would you ask?
There's levels to this stuff, So more specifically, are you a Christian? Right. There's all types of different types of Christianity as well, though. So even deeper questions. So you Baptist, traditional Baptist, you non-denominational,
right? Yeah. Do you believe in God?
CME? Is it Allah? What? I mean, are you Muslim?
Right.
I mean, there's so many different levels to that. And even then, think about it. We have so many different types of Christians, right? That even asking that question is not deep enough, because then you got to know, okay, so were y'all practicing Christians? Did you go to church? What was the actual beliefs of that? I mean, there are so many things, but it's deep questions. But to me, I can tell with those answers where we going.
And also, another thing that kind of falls up under that too, were you raised in a one-parent household, two-parent household? Did you see your mama get beat? Did your daddy beat? Did you, it's a lot to ask, and it will save you, even though you can't bank on somebody being completely honest. You will hope that, somebody will be completely honest and tell you that, but I think it's still important to ask those type of questions.
Here's another one of my favorites. Do you give money to the homeless? And you will watch people, some people will automatically be like, yeah, I give money to the homeless. And then some people automatically, their mind goes to twisting, and they'll be like, okay, well, it's kind of situational. Yeah, so I do this and da-da-da-da. Yeah. I mean, so it tells you a lot about how that person's thought process goes, if they're a giving person or not. Because some people be like, no, and keep it pushing. And I don't care. Why should I give them? I've heard.
Speaking of giving people, ask them, are you the only child? I think only child people. No, only child people out there.
Hey,
y'all are different.
Wait a minute. I'm very different.
My experience, people, I think that it's certain life skills and stuff that a lot of people that wasn't raised, you didn't have to share. You didn't have to, you know what I'm saying, do all of those basic things, and I think that's important too. So
right, but then there were us that grew up with sister cousins and brother cousins that we were made to share with. So shout out to all of my only children. I was the only child for 6 years. Okay, so I understand. I understand. So, what are some other questions that you have? What about? Are you a morning person or are you a night owl? Ooh. Are we gonna fight about that? Because that could be a conflict. How did household chores get divvied up in your household? Are you clean or or are you one of those organized chaos type people?
Okay.
You know, there's so many things that, because what happens is, I know these questions might sound a little weird, but it goes into later on down the road.
Exactly.
If we're cohabitating as man and wife, because I mean, some people are not dating with a purpose, and that's fine.
There's gonna be my next. Oh, we got a call.
We got a call.
Hold on, let me answer. Oh.
Press speaker.
Mark.
Press speaker.
Hey, caller. Thank you for calling into MichaelaSoForReal. What's your name?
Mark.
Hey, Mark. How are you?
I'm good.
What's going on today? Do you have You have a question to ask on the first date?
Yeah, there's always a good question on the first date, you know.
Okay. So what's going on today? What are you calling in to say? You just calling? Hello? Hello? Oh.
He got disconnected.
Alright, well thank you, Mark, out there for our first call. It was my first caller since I've had a caller. I've had email questions but not a caller. But thank you, Mark. But you can still call in 972-863-8860. We are talking about, right now we're talking about questions to ask on the first date. And I was, to kind of piggyback off of what you said, some people will say, well, why are you asking all on the first date? Like, well, what are we doing here? Like, everybody that you meet is for a purpose. Like, we're asking these questions to get to the point. I don't want to have to wait 3 dates in or a month in and then start asking, okay, so what? No, let's go ahead and ask this now. Yeah, I think that's important.
And what you also said, though, which is because people put on this front on these first few dates, first month of dates.
We call them the representative. Everybody has a representative.
Right.
I have my customer service representative voice when you call. And, you know, you're going to get this version of me. Right. But that's not... It's who I am. Don't get me wrong. It's who you are, but it's not all of you.
Right.
And you can turn it on and turn it off. And so a lot of times, men and women are like, we put on this representative, and I'm this and I'm that. And then once you get comfortable, it's like, well, I got him now.
Right.
I got her now. I don't have to be this representative anymore. And then that's where we get hurt. And
Yeah, I totally agree. But that's also another trick too, because if you're asking all of these questions in the beginning and you listen to those answers, because further down the line, I'm going to hold you accountable to what you said, right? So you said you were a clean, neat person. I can't tell. And you came over to this house.
Exactly. Exactly. You have to be able to be held accountable.
Wait, you said you were a freak. I can't tell.
What?
Wait a minute. You know, so it's a lot. You know, I feel like it's an interview, but it is.
It is.
You know?
It really is.
Though I feel like things should happen naturally, and no, do I think that you should bring a list, like I have a list in front of me, and go, okay, let's check off this and check off that and check off this.
No, absolutely like Chili. Not. Remember when Chili had that show and she had this long face?
Yes.
Like, we're not gonna do that. But you still want to get an idea of, you know, what am I getting myself into?
Right. And I think it's a progression. You know, you ask some of these questions on the first date, and if you make it past the first date, then maybe some more questions on the second date.
Great segue. Because I was going to get into, you also have a list of questions to ask before you get married. So what is the difference? What are these questions that's different from dating? Okay, so let's get into it.
Okay, so yes, we talked a little bit about cohabitating, right? But when you are on the path to marriage, you know this is the person, this is the one. You know, I've gotten Mocha Marriage certified, so I am trying to do these workshops and these seminars with premarital couples and married couples, right? Okay. And some of these questions they didn't ask beforehand, and now they're dealing with certain situations. Like, for instance, one of my favorite ones on here is about work. Have you ever been fired? And why is that important? Because have you ever been fired? What was the reason why you got fired?
Right.
It speaks to character. It speaks to work ethic. Like for instance, I have a friend that her ex-husband was fired from each job in the last 10 years before they got married. Right. They married at 28, 29, right? Mm-hmm. And she's now 39, 40. He got fired from every single job before they got married. So after they got married, he never kept the job.
Wow.
And then had she asked that question, that pertinent question, and seen the pattern beforehand, she might have not had to go through all the things that she went through. Of course, that wasn't the only thing that was wrong in their marriage, but it was that contributed a great deal to it. So another one, where in the world would you want to live? Because people's ideas and things change. Like, for instance, I have a couple that I'm working with right now. He is talking about moving to Dubai to go teach. Wow. They have 3 kids together, and the school in Dubai will pay for a lot of the things that they want to do and pay for housing and all of that kind of stuff. But she never would want to live in a foreign country ever. So, that's not going to work because had they asked some of those questions beforehand, because he even admitted that he had this set in his mind 5 years ago before they got married.
And they never discussed it.
They never discussed it. Very, very important questions. Some of the other things like how do you discipline your children?
Ooh, let's talk about it because some people...
Woo!
That's important.
That's a big one that will tear up your relationship.
Kids and finances.
Oh, yes. So, some of the major things that break up relationships, marriages, and couples, finances, communication, sex, household chores, those type of things, they're on the list. Like, actually a national list that'll tell you these are the reasons why people break up.
And I can believe it. I can believe it. Even to go back to what you were saying about the job thing. Like, this is funny, but it's kind of, it made me think about that because I will quit a job in a minute. And I will also quit you in a minute, too. So,
we was talking about that.
We was talking about that. And that is my conflict resolution is I don't like it here. So I'm about to go. You're not going to fire. I'm going to leave before you fire me. And I'm like that in relationship and friendships as well. If I feel like, it's not, I'm out of here. But, you can't build anything great with that.
Not with ghosting people all the time.
You can't.
Michael.
Pray for me. I don't know what to tell you. Pray for me.
Another one of my favorites, oh my goodness. Do you like it quiet in the house? Or are you okay with it being loud? Sometimes do you need a man cave? Or now the term for women is a she shed.
I definitely need a she shed. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Because it helps with the balance of the house. Some people can't operate with, like, for instance, I have a friend that works from home. There cannot be any noise while she's working from home. So she has, they have like a 6-bedroom house, and so all the way in the back is her office. Okay. And so, nobody bothers her from her hours of work, and it's all good, But I have another couple. They didn't discuss it at all before they even built their house, before they got married. Wow. And she got pregnant right after they got married. And he needs it quiet. In the morning, he just needs it a little quiet. And she's one of those, I gotta have my Mary J. Blige on, she's Fantasia rocking that. I'm getting my hair done, I'm doing all this. Yeah. And he can't stand it. And they argue about it constantly. And they refuse to have a happy compromise either about it. And she was like, no, I need this. I have to have this.
So you can't get no headphones. You just got it,
But think about it, too. And now, I was halfway on her side thinking about it because I'm one of those type of people, too. But I did put on my AirPods and was rocking out and doing my hair and all that.
Right, yeah. You can... I guess. Yeah, you can make it work.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you also, so with this knowledge that you gained and you being a sex expert, a sexologist and relationship coach, has it, are people intimidated? Because I'm very certain they are.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know that they have to come correct.
Mm-hmm. I'm a different breed of person, but that's for another time. But
I love it because I'm a different breed of person, so you gotta love it and love me.
But I have definitely come into men that were very, very intimidated by what I do. So I do have someone that I'm dating now, but before he arrived into the picture, I would get men. I had a lawyer talk to me, and he was very nice until he found out what I did. And he was like, "Oh, you're gonna have to stop that." And I said, "Wait, what? Hold on. I'm sorry.
Say what?
This is my profession. This is my business. Oh, so you going around looking at hoo-ha's and pee-pees all day?" I said,
"It's not like she's sitting there. Okay, y'all, let me show you. Okay, put it in there. Let me see."
No, there are times that does come up, and that's a different charge, and we can talk about that on another show.
Oh wow!
But the main focus of my business is talk therapy.
Okay.
So no, am I going around watching? No, that's not what it is. And sometimes we don't even get to the sex part because it's about their communication. Because
more than just sex.
They fix their communication, and then that opens all other doors. And they learn how to, I just didn't like it when you did this in the bedroom. And bam, you're fixed. You know? Or, okay, well, I like more of this and not of that, because you didn't know how to articulate yourself and say, this is what it is. You know?
And that is important.
Everything.
Communication definitely rules the nation. That's important. I like that you said that, because a lot of times, or oftentimes, because I think you posted something, you had a question like that, like, would you be able to stay with somebody, like, if the sex
was bad
and I'm like,
because you one of those people that comment on my post.
I don't really, because at this point in life, in this stage in life, I'm just gonna be honest with you, I don't want to have to teach you anything when it comes to that. But you also have to realize that, you know, they may have had somebody that liked this, or, you know, and this is what they're used to, and they're just gonna go in doing that, and instead of just being like, I'm good, just say, no, I don't
so
like that. Don't do that.
Perfect example, I had a client come in, and she said, he keeps biting me, and I don't know how to tell him that it does not feel good. And I said, well, have you just told him to stop? And she said, well, I'll push his head back. But she never opened her mouth to say that I really don't prefer you to bite me. I don't like my clit bit. I would rather you lick it or suck it, but don't bite it. She never articulated herself to say those words.
Right.
So we get all into the session. And keep in mind, this was her only complaint at the time. So we get into the session, and she said, well, can you kind of bring it up? And I said, we'll do an exercise to bring it up. And so there's an exercise called more of this and less of that. Okay. Well, you circle this area, and you tell what you want less of, right? So she put less biting, right? And so I said, so tell me one major one that's on your list. And she said, well, this area, I don't like you to bite it. And it's like, well, why didn't you say something?
Right.
and she was like, I was just scared. You weren't.
Because honestly, just pushing them, they probably think, they think that that's.
And it was based upon the fact that his ex-girlfriend really liked it, so he kept on doing it.
See,
communication. It's about communication. There's another couple that she doesn't like how hard he goes. Like, he goes hard, and like the way they were explaining it to me, he goes hard in the paint all the way, and so she didn't know how to again articulate that. You just I'm not. We need lubricants. We need. Oh, wow. We need clitoris clitoral stimulation gel.
Right,
We need all of these things before you go that hard. I don't mind you going that hard, but not all the way the whole time, right? Mm-hmm. So that was considered bad sex to her, right? But had she opened her mouth before to say something,
it would have been fixed.
It would have been fixed. But what happens is so many times, now I've gotten both cases, they don't want to bruise the ego of the man. I've heard that many times.
We don't. We don't. And then, you know what? Let me pause you right there, because we got to start. Because that's why they be thinking that they are, you know, more than what they are, because we tend to love you so much that we want you to feel like you that man, and then when we get mad and we like, well, you ain't even, and you know, so we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop that today. We're gonna stop trying to save their egos and start trying to save our relationships.
Right.
Yeah, I just had to
Absolutely.
say that.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, that is true.
I lost my train of thought.
I'm
though.
sorry. Talking about the couple and communicating.
Oh, and I mean, at the end of the day, we just talked about techniques that she actually liked, and short strokes and long strokes, and how she actually liked everything. And their sex life is the greatest ever. And she's actually pregnant.
Wow. So do you follow up afterwards? Are these people
absolutely, yes.
Okay.
You know, and they'll send me little messages, girl, or one of them calls me Dr. Candy, and I was like, listen, there's no PhD behind
it. She's speaking it out there.
Because I have a master's of education, and so somebody kept saying, I saw the med behind your name. No, that stands for Masters of Education, and I have a certification, a clinical certification in sexology. And they're like, oh, but Dr. Candy. Okay, well.
I'm going to let you call me that. You want to call me Dr. Candy? You can call me Dr. Candy. Okay. So. I think that it's awesome. I think that it's very interesting. That's why I wanted to get you on, because, you know, a lot of people are ignorant to it. I know that I was, like I said, just thinking of sexologists. You just, okay, so what you gonna teach? I don't need you to teach me how to have sex. Okay,
and I get that all the time.
Right, but the intimacy, like it's more than just sex. When you can, you know, be intimate with a person without even touching, without even doing anything, that's the most beautiful thing in the world.
And sex starts way before touching. It starts in the mind.
It definitely does.
And it's all about mindfulness. You know, you send that sweet text. I was just thinking about you, and you nibbling on my ear the other night. That was awesome. There you go. Ooh, my nature's rising just a little bit.
Just a little bit. It's almost 4:30. But that's important. That's important in relationships, and we gotta, it's not taboo. Like you said, it's natural. It's something that we all do or have done or will eventually do. That's how we recreate. That's how we, procreate or whatever. So.
And you'd be so, it's so crazy that I talk to a lot of married couples that are Christians and in the church, and that's the last thing they really want to talk about. And that's one of their biggest issues is the intimacy and the sex. But they don't want to get help. They don't want, because they're like, oh, well,
you're going to go to hell.
You're going to go to hell, and this is how it's supposed to be, right? No, the last time I checked, and this is just for the Christians out here, nothing is defiled in the bedroom.
Nothing.
So that means if you want to swing, if you want to sex swing, that means if you want to try on the wall, if you
outside,
in the bathroom, in the car, in the kitchen, kids,
if you're watching, that means nothing until
I can't push that, but I will say, because like we talked about in this day and age, like they've seen it all.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to keep it from them because it's right in their hands. It's just, oof.
It is, and that's why I'm starting my nonprofit for that. So, name coming out soon. I don't want to release it out of my lips yet.
Just yet.
But it is a sex education for kids and for specifically for teenagers from 13 to 21.
Okay.
And just really, we have those Planned Parenthoods out there, and we have some, organizations that try to give sex education. But what I really want to do is take the adults and the parents out the equation and just give you real information, and not in a nasty but let you have that platform to ask all of these different questions that you can't ask those adults that are around you. Someone that has no problem with, I'm not going to look at you crazy, I'm not going to think nothing like you're below or anything like that, or you out here and doing all kinds of stuff. No, you just have some questions that you need answered.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going with some things.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll have you back, once it's lunch, then we can talk about that. I believe we're about to take our last break, and when we come back, you know that you're no stranger here. We'll let you plug in your show in just a little bit, but we're going to do the hot on the spot.
Oh, Lord.
So at the end of the show, we do it all of our guests. So we will be right back, our last break, and don't go anywhere. This is Michaela Shanae with MichaelaSoForReal here on Power Play Radio, radio from a TV point of view. We'll be right back. Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of MichaelaSoForReal. I'm your lovely host here, Michaela Shanae, and thank you for tuning into Power Play Radio from a TV point of view. If you're just tuning in, you're just about late, but thank you for tuning in. No, but if you're just tuning in, I have the lovely Candy with Candyology. She is a sex, love, and relationship coach. She has been giving us a lot of great tips and information today. It's been a wonderful show. Thank you for taking time out of your day, because you know she has her show today at 8 o'clock. Tune in.
Yes, Lord. Mm-hmm.
But thank you for coming in the office a little early and sitting with me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, girl. Thank you, child.
So, like we do with all of our guests, we play a show called Hot on the Spot. And it is hot on the spot. I don't know the questions. I'm just new like you are. So yeah, we do that with all of our guests. After we do that, I'm gonna let her give all of her information and where you can find her and all of that good stuff. But we're gonna get into hot on the spot real quick. Would you rather not hear or not see? Ooh.
Not hear.
Yeah.
Not hear.
I think I would rather not hear, because if I may not be able to hear what you're saying, but I can read, I can see, I can read you. Mm-hmm. But if I can just hear you and I can't see you, I can't really,
Interesting fact about me, I still want to be a sign language interpreter. So I know a little sign language. I would so rather not hear than see. Absolutely. My cousin is blind, and I've seen all the things that she goes through. Rather.
See, my great grandmother was deaf. But she had been deaf since she was like 13, and she died at 96. So by 96, you can have a conversation with her like this, and you wouldn't even,
right?
know. So yeah, I'd rather be able to not hear. I'll be alright. I can make it.
Yeah, we can make it.
I already can't see.
Girl, context.
Let's see. Who in your family would you put in a spelling bee contest?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Me.
You definitely not me. Not me. Who would I? Probably. I don't know. I'm sorry, family. I don't know. My mama sure can't spell. I love you, mama, but she we make fun of her all the time. Like, mama, really? She can't spell. I don't know. I would have to.
Too funny.
I can't call nobody on that.
Me, definitely.
But Candy, she my sister now, so we might.
Yes, girl. Put me in. I got you.
Let's see. Name a gift you will never forget.
Colin.
Oh, that's yours. Oh.
Colin Gabriel Jackson. That's my baby. Yes.
Let me see. A gift that I would never forget. I got tickets to see Beyonce. A friend of mine. Was able to go on the Run tour. Shout out to Lily Sandra, if she watches, she probably is. But yeah, she got me tickets to see Beyonce, and that was, I'm a big Beyonce. I'm captain of the Beehive. So that was really awesome.
Yes. Oh, you should have seen the last concert for Destiny's Child was off the chain.
See, I never got a chance to see Destiny's Child in concert.
Oh my God, it was amazing. I want them to do it.
Cause see, I've always, even when Beyonce was, I've always been a Beyonce. Mm-hmm. She was the one that stood out to me. Kelly, right up under her, but for the most part, I never really cared too much about her.
Oh my gosh, and I have every Kelly album too.
Really? Mm-hmm. I like her too.
Yes, girl.
We can sit and talk for another hour, but we're gonna wrap up. Okay, last question. Okay, so we're gonna.
Oh Lord.
Oh. We really hot on the spot. Okay, for Facebook. Okay. Hot on the spot. Facebook only. Which scream is the loudest? Choose one. Reaching an orgasm or hitting your pinky toe on a chair. Okay. Facebook, this is a question for y'all. So, which scream is the loudest? Reaching an orgasm or hitting your pinky toe on a table or chair? I'm gonna say they're about the same cadence. I'm gonna say you really can't. That pinky toe it's right there, cause
shoot, no.
Candy say nah.
Them high pitched screams. Yes. Hit it right though.
Goodness gracious. Well, this
I'm
has
loud.
she said she loud.
You see my laugh is loud. Think about it.
Yeah. I can imagine. But thank you so much, Miss Candy. This has been a very fun show. Tell these lovely people where they can find you and how they can get your coaching experts and how they can do all that good stuff.
So, if you need coaching services, definitely go to Candyology CS. So that's CANDYOLOGY.CS.com. There you go. It's on the screen. Or you can reach me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's Candyology CS. Or on YouTube. Yes, we have a YouTube channel, Candyology Radio. Just type in Candyology Radio and you'll be able to see all of those shows. And you might get a little tidbit of information that you needed and help you out. So.
Okay. Doing the thing. We just, we surrounded by very dope women, and Candy being one of them, and I just love her. I love everything that she has going on. Me and you, let's have fun.
It was so silly.
But thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, this has been another episode. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you learned something. You could have been doing anything that you wanted to do on this beautiful Sunday, but you decided to stay and to tune in, and I really appreciate it. Don't take it for granted. So again, same time next week I'll be here. See you guys same time, 3 o'clock to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Tell somebody, tell two people, tell them to tell two people, and then just keep it like that. So again, thank you for tuning in. It's been real, always real. I love you all, and thank you. Power Play Radio from a TV point of view. We'll see you next week. Peace.